Hello and welcome along to my next editing session where I've just had a quick little flick through some of my images I haven't posted yet online and just came across this one here. I thought I'd give this one here a quick edit and show you the sort of bits and pieces I'll look for just to tidy this image up a little bit really. So as always we're going to start from the top, work our way down as well. So let's just start off with that horizon, make sure that's nice and straight, as straight as we're going to get it. You can see here we've got a little bit of fall off between that side there and that side there, so just by holding this down on here you can see that difference in that little line there. So let's just bring that straight. There we go, that's that bit there. So horizon's nice and straight on there, click on done. White balance looks pretty much fine to me. I'm pretty much happy with what we're seeing on there as well. Let's give the exposure just a little bit of a little look around, see what we've got there. It's starting to get a little bit bright here on this side, so the exposure is looking like it's pretty good on the actual shot that we took. So we can give it a double click just to reset it if we want as well. We can see here it was a 5-second exposure which we're happy with, f11, and yes, it's pretty much good to go on there. Give it a little bit of the contrast, see what we're going to get on there. See, I like a little bit more punch in there, that's coming out kind of nice, but we don't want to go too much. Just drop down the highlights a little bit, push up those shadows, touch as well. Not need to go too much on this, there's quite a lot of detail in this whole shot as a whole really. Whites, just push them up a little bit as well. You can start to see it's starting to come alive up here, which is really nice. We've been really careful though that we don't blow the detail out around this area right in the center point here where it was naturally quite light anyway in the shot. And again, let's just add a little bit of texture in here, a little bit of clarity, which is just going to bring the detail out in the darks all around here. You can see it's starting to come alive around here as well, so we're happy with that. And we roll down here. First thing we want to do in here really is just drop the sharpening all the way down. We're not really wanting that in the shot we've done in Lightroom. I tend to want to do that in Photoshop itself. So from in here, I think what I'm going to finish it off really is I'm just going to just bring out the details, the whites in here, the whites in the clouds, maybe add a few more blacks in here as well. So we'll do that in Photoshop. So give it a right click on the mouse and then we can edit in Photoshop. It's going to make a new image, so that's an exact duplicate of what we've got here already. So we jumped into Photoshop. So as always, Control J for a new layer, which is just going to give us a new layer to work on. You don't want to work on the background copy because that's just going to, if it goes wrong and you want to undo something, then you're going to be stuck with you've ruined the master that you've just made on there. So this does help speed things up quite a bit. So first things we always go for on here is we want to be starting to play with the dodge and burn on here. So we're going to start off, I always tend to start with the highlights, that's what we're going to use today. I'm going to use the Wacom pen on here as well, give it a little play around on here, and we can just start to bring up some of our whites around on here as well. We don't want to go too mad where they're already white over here. Once you start to go a bit too much, the details will start blowing out quite quickly. And we are just adding a little bit more of what was already there as well. So short, quick brush strokes on the whites is just going to help to bring those details out. You can see the differences coming on there as well. If you need to check while you're editing, just turn it on and off and you'll see what you've been adding to the shot on there. You can see the difference you're quickly making. Again, as we said, we're going to want to bring the whites up all the way around on here. Just going to give it a bit more of a sort of three-dimensional feel. So we bring that one down there, and then if we then give it Control and then plus, and then if we hold down the space bar, we can then drag everything all around there. Control minus just to bring it out a little bit. So you don't always want to be working the full screen, you want to be getting into the area you're working in, which is always going to help for a little bit more refined touching up on the work. So if we jump back out here, you can see now the size that you're trying to work on. And then not just thinking about the highlights, let's also think a little bit more about the shadows as well. think about the actual bits of sea defence that we got actually in the shot here as well. We just bring up the shadows on them a little bit. Make the brush a little bit smaller. So on the whack on tablet you can just have this predefined. It's really easy just to click it on and off. I'm not going mad bringing the shadows up a lot, just a little tiny bit, just to bring out the shape a little bit more in them. So again, you can see on here, it's just bringing them up a little tiny bit. We'll leave that one there because that is sort of buried in the water as well, so we don't want to be going too mad on that one. What we can then do is jump in here, a bit of burn as well, leave it on the shadows. I tend just to bring this one up a little bit because I don't want to go too mad. So bring up the size, and all we're doing is just adding to some of the depth that we got in there on the clouds, just to make it a little bit more dramatic. Run it over here as well, just over the highlights, so in between all these gaps that you can sort of see. So all these little bits in here, all it's going to do is just darken those off. It's just going to add a little bit more depth to what you're seeing on there. And the same with coming down here, so the whites become a lot whiter, the darks become a lot darker. So yes, a real quick edit so that you can see the difference we've got on the shot just on there. Jump on here, so we haven't gone too mad. And then, as I said, I always just flatten off what I've done on there as well. Control J, new layer. And we can jump down on here on the Nik Collection, give it a bit of a tidy up. So we've gone to Define. And Define I've always found to be quite handy. It's a nice free tool, which is what's left of it basically. And you can click on here for later. You can get this online for free. And from here, what it's going to do is going to analyse the darker parts of the image to help take out any noise on the actual shot. If you look just down here in the bottom right hand side, you'll be able to see what is actually tidied up as well. It is going to soften the image a little bit, but we can put that right. I'd rather get the noise out of the shot, so we can OK on that. And we can start to, you'll see the difference that you get on here straight away. It's quite evident. Once that's done, that'll all be done on there. And from here, filter, and give it a quick high pass sharpen. So the high pass sharpen, you don't really want to be going much above 1.4 really. 1.2, you can just start to see your edges on here. So if you look around here, you can see the actual bits of the sea defence here. You can see little bits of the sea defence on here as well. All you're going to be doing, all you want to do is bring out the edges on those a little tiny bit. So we click on that for OK, and jump into where it says normal. And then you've got the choice of overlay, soft light, hard light, and you're going to get different amounts of sort of the sharpness applied to all that on there. I tend to just stick with overlay. That's my sort of preferred choice on there. And again, what that's going to just done is just bring out a little bit more detail on the sand, and you see it's bright the detail on the rock itself on there as well. And if you want to just jump back, we can actually just turn that. It's so minimal what is applied, but it is going to make a slight bit of a difference on there as well. And from here, I'm happy with what we've got edited, so Control E again, flatten the image. If you don't flatten the image, you end up with an image twice the size of what you started off with. We don't really want to be doing that. And just click on here, click on Save. Again, that's then it's going to jump back in the Lightroom. Once it's all done, we're then all sorted, and then it's then made a duplicate of the first image that we shot. So there's the first one there before any editing, and you see a little bit fuzzy on the rocks on there. And we jumped into here, details have come out a little bit on there as well, but the bit I like the most is it's brought out the water and everything else all around on here as well. And yeah, it's just a quick treatment for an image there. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed this quick editing tutorial, and as always, hit that subscribe button please, and yeah, enjoy your photography. All the best, take care, goodbye.